messing with my paperwork. And then there's a channel that you can go through that should be able to alleviate or fix that problem, right? We have that as free citizens. So when someone is incarcerated, does that mean that they now no longer have the right to stand up for themselves? They no longer have the right to protect themselves? Why? Is that because of the 13th Amendment? And if so, even more so, does it need to be abolished? I believe the 13th Amendment needs to be abolished because it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? For reasons like this, for reasons why they can be worked for pennies on the dollars like slaves, and they say, "Oh, you a slave now because," and it's not even if you are convicted of a crime. Do you know if you get charged with a crime, they can make you a slave? Yeah, read the 13th Amendment. It's got some serious stuff going on with it. But back to my point. So when you're incarcerated, does that mean that you no longer have the ability to stand up for yourself or stand up for others? Is it supposed to just die inside of you? In this situation that happened at the facility in Smyrna, I want to say for anybody who there was an officer that passed away, condolences to his family. I don't want to take anything away from that, period. It's very unfortunate and sad when people die. I'm a new humanist, which means I believe in human life and I love humans, and I just love humans because, hey, human, that's how I am. So I hate to hear when people die. You know what I mean? So I don't want to take away from that. And it was never a plan for something like that to happen. People were willing to put their life on the line. They weren't setting it up to hurt anybody else. Okay, let me say that. In my opinion, of course, this is my opinion. They were in a situation where they were being abused physically, emotionally, psychologically. And the only way that they were supposed to get relief for themselves was to report the abuse to the abuser. Something that had been done and to no avail. Those that decided to be active in it, one, dealt with it themselves, right? And then both of the brothers, man, but one in particular said he was looking at the old timers, those that had been there longer, and he could see the light diminished in their eyes. There was no light in their eyes. They was dead on the inside. And that's what this facility wanted, for them to just be zombies, to be cattle, to be chattel, and just be zombies and take everything we given to you. It was a purposeful environment to make people and break people like that. So you have these brothers that are looking at the diminished light in these men's eyes, these old timers. They just gone. When they still have their vigor and they still have their life. One brother said, if you ever come here and you don't see the light in my eyes no more, just know that they got me. That got my eyes watering right now, just thinking about how they got to feel. Because I've been in a position where I felt helpless. So then you have the younger ones coming in, you trying to tell them something, and they just full of life and rambunctiousness. And you don't want what you're seeing in the old timers' eyes not only to become your plight, but you don't want to see the young, vigorous ones that you see have more light and vigor than you to use theirs. And no one's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. When you try to complain about it, you're beat down. When you try to complain about it, you're retaliated against. You can barely get a grievance out because of it. Do you know that at one point in time, prisons all across, and I'm sure that John T. Vaughn is not an exception, though I don't know this particular thing for a fact, wasn't even taking grievances, which is supposed to be against federal law. But who's going to enforce it if it's not us? Because they're going to keep doing the wrong thing, right? When is it not insane to allow yourself to be continually abused and do nothing, or is it insane to fight against it? And why does it matters who you're fighting against? It doesn't, man. Nobody was coming to save these men. Nobody was coming to make it better. So they did what they felt they needed to do. And this, of course, is my opinion. I suggest that you read the book. I've done recordings and interviews with them talking about this. Okay, and I invite you to that as well. But what would you do? I had to ask myself, what would I have done if I was in that situation? I would have stood up for it. I was always the one standing up for soldiers in the military. When the higher ups was doing something, everybody looking. I'm like, I'm finna blow this whole thing up. I got you. Don't even worry about it, sir. Somebody has to do it. Or they could continue to do it. They had the last uprising before this one in 2017 was in the 70s. Now, let me tell you something that they don't tell you, that the media doesn't tell you. Everything that these men asked for has changed in the prison. Not only did the things that they asked for change in the prison, it led to multiple fired and some arrests. That's the part they don't blast that everywhere though. They don't tell you how everything that they asked for they changed, because it was a problem, but nobody was coming. So they got indicted for different reasons. I'm not going to speak on what I don't know, but what I will say is, what would I have done in that situation? Would I have stand up for myself? Would I have had stand up for others? Yes. Yes. And I personally do not think that where you are should limit that, because no one was coming to help them, yo. And everything that they asked for on their demand list, they wasn't asking for petty things. This wasn't no petty game. And they knew that their life was on the line. They knew that it was going to be consequences, and they still did it. Now, I don't think that they should be punished egregiously for it, because it's just not fair. It's not fair to say you have to lay down and take it, or we're going to punish you more. Come on, man. That's what we're all fighting against. The things that don't make sense, the things that are inhumane, the things that just ain't common but are too common. You understand? I want to bring it back up again. It will be coming soon. Not only does it have the perspective of those that were involved in standing up for themselves and others, it also has the perspective of those that were watching and didn't do anything. And there are some that got indicted for the crimes that they said that they committed there at the prison, and they didn't even do anything. They literally did nothing but not tell on what they might have saw, or not lied to assist in prosecution of someone else. And if you ask them, they will tell you why they did it. This is a book that you definitely want to get, man. It's more than just hearing about what happened. It's more than just getting the tea. I think that this is a conversation that should not stop here. A conversation on what does it really take to get change, and what are the limits. This is why we have to be involved as activists, so it doesn't get to these uprisings to where no one is getting hurt and getting more charges and getting life added to their sentences. There were people that were coming home in a couple of years that did nothing and decided not to tell, because they seen why these people stood up and they respected it and they took their time on their chin. Some might call them fools, some might call them heroes. I guess it depends who you ask. I just want y'all to think about that, okay?